Hey, this is Thomas Q. Jones, as you can see, and I'm on the Renegade Millionaire show.
What's up, y'all? This is Chitty Bang, and I'm on the Renegade Millionaire Show, the podcast that profiles entrepreneurs, founders, and CEOs. Join us as we go one-on-one inside the hearts and minds of some of our generation's best and brightest. And now, introducing your host, my friend, Sun Group Wealth Partners Managing Director, CNBC and Forbes.com contributor, Winnie Sun.
So welcome everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Renegade Millionaire Show. We are in beautiful Venice Beach, Southern California at TuneIn Studios. I am Winnie Sun, your host for the Renegade Millionaire Show. You can follow me. I'm really active on Twitter, Sun Group WP, but you know me as your financial advisor, managing director of Sun Group Wealth Partners. I just came back from New York last week. I hope you caught me. I was on Fox Business with Maria. It was so much fun. Thanks for having me again, Maria. Love being on your show. With that, did you know, I'm going to read a little factoid, so I apologize for reading this, but after they make touchdowns, a lot of football players turn into acting to make things even more interesting. And so my guest is the very handsome, very astute Thomas Q. Jones. Woohoo, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It is a true pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I read your bio, and I was so enthused to be able to do this interview with you.
Wow.
Because you are a man of a lot of talents.
Well, I guess because I come from a very, very small town, and all I have coming from that town is my ambitions and dreams, and I think I never really grew up. I think I'm still kind of the same kid inside that I was, so I continue to chase different ventures, different accomplishments. You know, I'm just trying to live my life to the fullest. I think I'm just very fortunate to have gotten out of my town, and I'm able to do a lot of things that I dreamed of doing.
But your town is what's so beautiful about the story, too. And it's something very special. So let's talk about where you grew up in Virginia.
I grew up in a small town called Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Matter of fact, they're doing a movie right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's with Ashley Judd, Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Wilson. They shot it in my town. So
wow.
I just saw it today. Someone was on the Today Show promoting it. So I think it's going to be a pretty big movie. And it's about my town, which is like 5,000 people. It's a coal mining town. It's in southwestern Virginia. Very, very kind of like Andy Griffith, kind of. You know, it's small, but there's a lot of really good people there.
It's a
beautiful.
hardworking town, right?
Hardworking town, beautiful landscape, great people. I mean, I was so fortunate to grow up in a place like that because I never really lost my sense of humility, despite the things that I was able to accomplish. So I said earlier, I think I'm still the same kid from there. I don't think I'll ever change, and I think that's why I will hope I continue to be successful. But coming from my town, my mother was a coal miner, my father was a coal miner. I have 5 sisters and a brother.
Wow.
My mother worked in the coal mines for 19 years underground, and my
Wow.
father worked 1 year before he was laid off and couldn't get back in. And I was able to go from my town, and I stayed at home. I went to the University of Virginia, played there for 4 years. I graduated in 3 years and finished my 4th year in an education program to get my master's. I was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. I was the 7th pick overall in the NFL draft in 2000. Played in Arizona for 3 years. I was traded to Tampa Bay. Played there for 1 year. Then I signed with the Chicago Bears. Played there for 3. And my last year, we played in Super Bowl 41 against the Colts. About a month after the Super Bowl, I was traded to the New York Jets. Played in New York for 3 years. I was released, and I signed a 2-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Played there for 2 years and retired. And then ever since then, everything's kind of just been like a roller coaster. So
Yeah, I mean, you're doing some great things. I mean, post-football. Can you share some of the things that you're doing right now? It's incredible.
Yeah, I when I retired, for about the first 8 to 9 months, I was kind of lost. I didn't really know what to do. I've always been a creative person and been interested in entertainment, but football takes up so much of your mental space and so much of your time that you don't really have a chance to pursue anything.
Right.
So for the first time in my life, I had free time. was kind of like, whoa, what do I do with myself? So the first 8 to 9 months were really, really tough for me because I'm used to being busy all day, and I had to start over and find new things to be busy with. I started a production company, a music label in 2008.
Okay.
And when I retired, I decided to, I played 12 years in the NFL. I went through a lot of experiences. So I decided to put a documentary together to explain a lot of the issues that I went through. And it was really meant to help the younger players to avoid some of the things that I was able to avoid. And
It's
in
like
that,
a guide for younger players. That's great.
Yes,
You know, to give back.
Yes, that's what I wanted to do. I made it through 12 years in the NFL pretty much unscathed. And I wanted to help a lot of the younger players because I think being a veteran guy and a veteran player that's played on 5 different teams and was traded twice and had an early tough career and then ended up playing in the Super Bowl and then being a Pro Bowl player, all those experiences I wanted to pass down. So that led me to starting a production company, a film company,
Okay.
which is called Independently Entertainment Films.
Where is that
And
located?
It's actually in Miami.
Okay.
That's where I'm based. So
Okay.
I'm here in LA and in Miami, so I'm back and forth. But
Yeah,
it's-
thank you for joining us. I'm so excited that we could do this.
yeah, but I decided to do that, and that led me into what I'm currently doing right now. One of the things I'm currently doing which is acting. I brought in a project with an actor named Clifton Powell, and I started working on that project and producing it. And then I started acting in it, and I actually played a role. I played Clifton Powell's nephew, and I kind of got the acting bug. And he encouraged me to pursue it. He thought I had a chance. I started to take some acting classes, and I found a really, really good manager, and was cast for a couple of projects early. I wasn't really taking it too serious because I still had my label, not my artist. But I was cast for this show, Shameless, on Showtime. This show called Comedy Bang Bang on IFC Network, which is a pretty funny show. And then I was cast for the show on BET called Being Mary Jane. And once I was cast for that show, that was when the light bulb came on, like, hey,
You could really do this.
yeah, you have a shot, but you have to move to LA and you have to be in LA more because I'm an East Coast guy. I'm from Virginia, but I had to make that move. And since then, things have just kind of
You just have to
taken
do
off.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you walk through the door, I was telling you the same thing. I'm like, okay, for sure. Not only are you really smart, a football player, but you've got the look. You look like an actor. And look at these guns. Okay, thank goodness this is a video, right? Look at these guns. I was saying like, oh my goodness, he's like, oh no, I don't really tell. He says he doesn't really work out.
No. I mean, when I played football, I was a lot bigger. I had to be a lot bigger to protect myself.
Right.
But as an actor, that's not as good sometimes because as soon as you walk in the room for an audition, they automatically see you as a certain type of character.
Right.
And I like to play a lot of different characters. I was kind of like the anti-athlete, I guess. I was very, very low key when I played. I didn't
You're very
really
intellectual.
Well, I think life is sports are a great part of life. Sports changed my life for the better. Without a football scholarship, I wouldn't have had the finances to go to UVA, and then I wouldn't have been able to graduate from there and meet all the people I met. I mean, I think life is way bigger than sports. There's so many interesting things that are going on in the world, and sometimes because sports is so big, especially football in America, it's so big, you kind of get caught up and lost in that world. But there are a lot of other things out there besides sports, and I was always interested. And now that I don't play, I have the chance to, search and find all that information and look for those things, which has been great for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It just shows you're still so young coming out of sports. There's the whole world in front of you. I mean, maybe something you can share with us too, because we had talked about this right when you walked in the studio. We had mentioned not only are you a great athlete, and you have been a great athlete, but you really believe in giving back. You touched about that earlier, but there's more to that story. We talked really briefly about head trauma, about sports injuries, because when we look at you and you walk in, you look like an actor. You look like the perfect model of athlete that was successful, that's still really healthy, and got everything going on. But there's things that are going on that we can't see.
Yes, definitely. We're trained warriors. We're trained to play hurt. We're trained to ignore pain. We're trained to get the job done regardless. That's all that matters is getting the job done no matter what. You'll deal with the pain, the injuries. You'll deal with that later. It's all about winning. And especially in the NFL, it's all about winning. If you lose a game, people get fired, people's lives change, kids have to change schools, people have to move. I mean, huge stakes.
Lots of responsibility.
Lots of responsibility. So for me, I played 12 years at running back. Any position in the NFL is a dangerous position. It's a gladiator sport. There's so many negative things that can happen to you. But psychologically, and I majored in psychology at Virginia, everything has some sort of psychological component to it. And in the NFL, we're trained warriors. We're trained to be hurt. The one thing that I had to adjust to when I first retired was not being hurt or not getting in the shower and having something bleeding or something scratched or cut. It was just because I was so used to being hurt that you just expect it. Yeah, for me personally, I have a lot of physical issues. I broke my ribs 3 times, and so I have shortness of breath. But I have to see a chiropractor constantly, or I breathe shallow. I hyperextended my left big toe, so sometimes I walk on my left heel.
Wow.
There's a lot of scar tissue in there. My left knee I had I tore my meniscus. And I had a slight tear in my LCL on my right knee. I mean, there's so many different things. I mean, one time I was tackled and my rib cage was twisted. I was breathing sideways. I can't really explain it.
You don't even think about things like that, you know?
Yeah, there's so many things that happen to us and all I could think about was fix me so I can get back in. Fix me so I can get back in because I don't want the guy behind me to get the touchdown. I don't want the guy behind me to take my job. That's all you're thinking about. So now that I'm retired and I've been out of the NFL for 3 years, all those things now, when I look at the games, which I don't really watch the NFL that much anymore, but when I watch these guys and I see these guys, and I understand it comes with the game. We signed up for this, but we're still human beings. You know, we're not meant to play football. You know, we created this game. Our bodies aren't meant to run into a brick wall every day, which is what we do. Psychologically, the one thing I really like about acting is that I'm able to take all this information from the scripts and memorize my lines, and I'm really able to think. Because when you play in the NFL, your instincts are on high alert. It's almost like driving a Lamborghini at full speed for however long you played, and then putting it in a garage, and then you don't start it up again.
That's a great analogy.
That's what happens to a lot of guys' brains, I think. And your instincts are at an all-time high all the time, because if you're not alert, you could get either knocked out.
It's go or stop.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and the consequences of you not being alert could be you getting paralyzed or you breaking your leg. Like the stakes are really, really high in football. But that's why I like acting, because I'm able to really think. It's very cerebral. You have to take yourself to different places emotionally, psychologically.
You have to be vulnerable too.
Yeah, you have to be vulnerable, which is great for me, because when I wouldn't say I'm a different person now, but I would say that I've evolved. I'm extremely different as far as just emotionally. When you play football, you have raw emotions. I mean, when I played very angry. I played very angry. I got addicted to the violence of the game, the brutality of the game, the fact that I could just be this primal animal and like it's okay, and when you get used to, and when you start to like hurting people, it's kind of hard to turn that off.
Right.
But acting has helped me, because you can't be that person, because that's not normal. You can't be that person to be a good actor, because the viewers, they won't connect with your character, because they won't understand it. Everything you do, they'll think you're crazy.
And it's what's amazing. It's almost like for you, acting has almost become like therapy.
It has. Huh. It has to be able to say, you know what, this hurt me, or what you did affected me.
Right.
Because as a football player, you can never show weakness. You can never be the weakest link. You can never show vulnerability. If I'm a running back and I see that a safety doesn't want to tackle me, and he showed me that vulnerability, then the next time I have the ball, I'm going to try to run him over. Or the next time I'm going to do as much as I can now, because you showed me a sign of weakness. Right. That one sign of weakness let me know, okay, I'm going to come at you now. I'm not going to try to make you miss. I'm not going to try to avoid you. I'm going to run over you every time, because I know you're going to get out of the way.
Right.
So when that's your mindset for so many years of your life, I mean, you can't just change that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're talking about high school, college. I played 4 years of high school. It doesn't start in the NFL. It starts when you start playing. Yeah. That psychology that's what's taught to you. So yeah, it has been therapy to be in a class with people who are open about their lives and their issues, and me being able to use some of the bad things and tragedies in my life and take some of those situations and add the emotional connection to my character to make it more real. It is therapy. I've never experienced anything like that before.
And what an advantage too to have that background, those emotions, and I'm sure there's like inner struggle, but I think it would make you a much more dynamic and interesting character to watch on the screen.
Yeah, it does. People believe your character. They believe you're more natural that way. I've worked out of some great studios since I really started to take it seriously. I've worked out of Ivana Chubbuck studio, who's with Franz Turner, who's a great coach. I've worked with Jamie Rudofsky. I'm currently in Scott Sedita's studio, who's a great coach. I mean, I'm getting it's amazing that you get different people's perspectives on different techniques, and you're able to add all of those techniques in your toolbox. And it's really been a great way for me to transition. I'm a busybody. I've always been busy. I've always been the kind of kid when I was a
worker.
kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I ate my food fast. I walked fast.
You're a machine.
Yeah. I was that kid, and now I have the time and the space to learn. I'm learning so much at a fast pace, which is good.
Wait, I want to hear this, because going from football, sports, you said, going fast and stopping, and then going to acting, which is so much a field, and it's a science for sure, but there's a lot of art to it. It must have been tough in the beginning. Can you talk about some of the struggles of going to acting? You must have at some point thought, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah, it was tough at first because
you're going from crowds of to like, okay, you're doing that wrong.
Yes.
Right?
And then who's telling you? I'm used to a coach that's my size, my height, maybe bigger than me, saying, what are you doing? But they don't say, what are you doing? They have a different way of saying it. To a director who's might be 5'3",
100 pounds.
Yeah, saying, what are you doing in the same way? It was super tough. And as a football player, we wear helmets. We're like superheroes in a way. We do
You're
our
built like a superhero.
Yeah. But we do our work with uniforms on. So people when they see us, they don't really know us. They just can't believe that. Like, see, people who have seen me before, and when I played in the NFL, and even now, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you Thomas Jones?" Because they know me as number 20 with Jones on the back of my jersey, because I do my work with my helmet on.
Right.
But as an actor, people, they think they know you personally. I've had people come up to me and say, on Being Mary Jane, Mary Jane, she should be with you. She should be with your character. And it was a crazy transition because, I've had some pretty intimate scenes on there. So to go from being fully clothed to not having any clothes, it's like it was so strange. I've never really experienced
that sounds
anything
funny
like
coming
that.
from you.
Yeah, it was strange. Like, you're exposed in front of the world, and in football it's totally different. Also, my levels, I had to really work on my levels as an actor, because if I had a scene, I did a scene. My first scene that I did in class was from the movie Closer, and I was Clive Owen, and it was one of the intense scenes where I had to be angry. So
you had trouble with anger?
Well, my anger in football is okay, but my anger as an actor is not.
Okay.
Because the football environment on the field, in the locker room, there are no boundaries, no limits to. The more angry you are, the more energetic you are, the more aggressive you are, the better. The more you're going to be respected, the more you're going to be feared. So anytime that you're told to be angry, and I was a captain of the team, so I was the guy that had to get the team excited to play, get the team ready to play. So I had to take myself emotionally to a totally different dimension to get these. I'm not a small guy, but I'm not big in the NFL. You're talking about 6'7", 6'8" guys, 340 pounds, 330 pound guys that I have to make them listen to me. So how I can't make them listen to me if they're not at least in some way intimidated in some capacity. So to go from that world and be comfortable and then go to acting where I have to be yelling at my girlfriend in the scene, I can't be like, and so I had to own it. I had to come down. That's where the therapy came in, because it was like, this isn't normal. You know, when you
This
play
is
football.
how humans show anger.
Yes, this is how humans
You gotta
show
get
anger.
the animalistic down a little bit.
Yes, because everybody around me is like me.
They're like, you crazy.
That's how it was the first day. Were like, is he all like? And then
Are
my
you
coach
on
was
something?
yeah, my coach was like, you know, you need to. Why are you so angry? And I'm like, well, he says angry in the
Drink some
script. He's
coffee.
like, I'm like, he says angry in the script. He's like, well, angry, you know. And then after class, and while he worked with me. It was like, if you're angry, if it says angry, you should be frustrated. Your frustration is good enough to be your anger.
Okay.
And then if it's frustrated, your irritation is good enough to be your frustration. You know, and it was levels to come down.
Right.
And if you're not in that space, if you're not in that environment, in that world, it's very, very hard for you to understand. It's not an anger problem. It's just that my anger versus another person's anger was on a different level. So yeah, those are a lot of things that I had to work on. Obviously, getting in front of people and, you know, we're not in close quarters with the fans. Okay, when we play football, it's just us on that field. As an actor, you're working with someone that you don't necessarily know. You have to open yourself up completely to make the scene the best scene possible, and you have to loosen up. And it was
you have to
tough.
smile.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But I look back now. I was just thinking the other day. I was like, wow, for me to be able to become a legitimate actor and to be respected. The one thing about coming from sports and being an actor is that a lot of people think you're trying to act. So unfortunately, they'll watch to see if you're good, as opposed to watching to see what the storyline is.
To believe the story, right.
And I've been fortunate enough to where people are watching and they're
believing.
They're respecting my ability. And that's a testament to the work I put in, because, you know, I have a lot of pride and I want to be good. I don't just want to be an actor. I want to be a good actor. I want to be a respected actor, not just by fans, but by other actors as well. So
That's a type A personality in you for sure. Well, we got to talk about that. I mean, your voice too. Can you sing? Because you sound like you can sing.
In the shower. I can sing in the shower. I think I sound like Tyrese in the shower.
You sound really good on the radio. I don't know. I mean, I think you should try. Just a thought.
You know what? I love to, you know, goof around and I love all kinds of music. I have a label. I grew up in the country, so I grew up listening to country music and R&B music. I listen to all genres of music. I think music is a universal language. That's why I got involved in the music industry. And
what artists do you have working with you?
I have an artist right now. I've worked with different artists. I've worked with singers. I've worked with hip hop artists. I have an artist right now. His name's Marty Grime, and he's from Virginia. He has a super talented kid. He's a rapper. He writes. He produces as well. I'm working with him right now on his project. He's got a song called "The Fix" that's out right now. It's just viral. But this kid I think he's kind of a mixture of like a Drake. And Kanye, he's kind of has that mixture.
How fun.
Yeah, he's a very creative artist. And actually, I developed a technology company with this kid, and I developed the technology company with the kid before I even knew he was an artist.
Really?
Didn't even know he was an artist. I worked with him for probably about 2 months before I even knew he was an artist. I had no clue.
So what's his technology company?
It's called Castar Applications. And
Castar, okay.
Castar, Castar.
Okay.
And it's our first app. I mean, we do everything from websites to 3D printing to mobile apps. And our first app that's on the market, it's available right now. It's free. It's on iPhone. You can get it at the App Store.
What's it called?
It's called Castar, and it's a social networking platform that allows you to actually network. I think the next wave in technology. Now, we came up with this idea last April on my couch.
Oh, wow.
Just randomly,
And it's already live. That's good. That's quick.
Yeah, quick. But it was another thing. You know, what sparked me was the Social Network movie.
Oh,
I
really?
never saw the Social Network movie. Everyone was like, "You have to see this movie. You have to see this movie."
Yeah.
Because I hated social media when I played.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't on Twitter and all of that because I just, I did not want to hear what fans had to say.
Now how do you feel about it, though?
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Once you get the bug.
Yeah, and y'all can see it's great. It's great because you get to really network, get a chance to meet different people, you get to be entertained. But that's the thing. I think most social networking platforms I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. You know, on Instagram, you can look at pictures, you can see a funny video, you can post something however you're feeling or whatever. Twitter is mainly news. Facebook is kind of a mixture of everything. But what we want to do is we want to create a platform where people could actually network, creatives especially, like me, like Joel, like fashion designers, like makeup artists, dancers, actors, directors, photographers, anyone that's in a creative space that wants to be seen, that wants to network with people that are like them, that will have a chance to earn money. So that's how the app came up. And I was moving to LA to get cast for projects. And he makes clothes too. So he was looking for a job. He ended up getting a job at Diesel. So that's how he came up with the app. It's two-sided. One side's for the casters, which is the people who are looking to promote an event, a gig, a job, a party, whatever they want to promote. And then the other side is for the cast, the people who are looking for those opportunities.
Gotcha.
So we're kind of like the broker.
To get all the parties together.
To connect. Yeah, we want you guys to connect, network. Then from there, you guys figure it out, because there's a lot of opportunities out here in the world and people just don't have them. I mean, there's people in so many cities in the world, especially like where we're from. I'm from a small town. Joel, his name's Joel Robinson, but his artist name's Marty Graham. He's from Waynesboro, Virginia, these are small towns, but there's some super talented people in these places, and they can't be seen, and they don't have the money to necessarily fly to LA or Chicago or Miami or New York.
But they can do those through the app. They can connect this way and then build opportunity and then make decisions on whether or not they want to travel.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because the opportunities will be there, because people need these jobs filled and people need these jobs. So when you go to Caster, you know, okay, I'm going here because I'm looking for an opportunity for me to be seen. I'm looking for an opportunity to earn money and network with people who are like me.
And there's people there that want to meet people like them. So
yes.
It's a win-win.
Win-win. We think that's the next phase in social media, as well as helping the artists become their own merchant, become an entrepreneur themselves.
Right. Because really now artists don't make so much money on the releasing the EP, but more on everything else that comes from behind, right?
Yes, and you're seeing a lot more social media celebrities now.
Yeah.
But there isn't a platform for those people to all, come together and put their own projects together. Like I have 2 independent scripts, movie scripts that I've written, and those projects are going to need to be cast. I might not have access to get Angelina Jolie, but the next Angelina Jolie may have her reel on Caster,
right?
Because as a cast member, you get on your portfolio, you get 6 pictures, endless information about yourself, your experience, and you get a video of up to 6 minutes, full screen video. So it can be your acting reel.
Wow,
it can
that's
be
great.
So if someone sees it and they like it, you can actually submit to a gig right there on your social timeline. If that person that uploaded the gig likes you, then they can follow you and then message you, and then it
set
goes
the
from
connection just like that.
Just like that.
Very, very cool and very efficient. I love that. Okay, you're full on Brainiac too. So very, very cool.
Yeah, the website is castarapp.com, CASTAR app.com. And
it's available on iOS now?
It's available on iOS, on iPhone, Android, and Windows.
Oh,
so
right.
we just across the board.
And it's free.
Free.
To download.
Free download to earn money. That's what we want.
That's not so bad.
No, it's not. Joel Robinson's another one of my partners, Scott Powell. He's from Virginia too. It's we've created this platform that we think is going to help a lot of people. That's the thing. You have to help people.
Yeah.
You have to help people, and in order for you to be successful, you have to help people in some capacity. It's inevitable. So hopefully we'll help 1 billion people.
Yeah. The more you give, the more you come back. The more you receive in one shape or another.
Exactly.
Right? So share with us what's next on the horizon for you, and how, most important, what's next for you? And I want to make sure we find out how we can continue to watch your growth.
Well, Being Mary Jane is the BET show comes out in a few weeks.
Okay.
So I would tell people to check that out. Check the season out. I think it's going to be a really good season.
Yeah, everybody's got to tune in.
Yeah, you have to tune in. Yeah, I think the premiere is October 20th.
Okay. That's like in 2 weeks.
Like 2 weeks.
Okay.
I was cast for a project. It's a pretty big project, but I can't really talk about it at this point.
Okay, so follow him on social.
Yeah.
And so he can tell you about it later on, but for sure.
Yeah, once they give me the green light, trust me, you'll know what it is. I did a short film called Love in the Line with this great director, actor. His name's Jimmy Devote. That will be coming out soon. I think he's going to submit that to Tribeca. I'm working on a lot of different independent projects. My documentary right now, I did a joint venture with this company, Solaris Entertainment, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the 30 for 30s on ESPN.
Yes.
But they produced the Fab Five on the Michigan team. So the documentary, which you can see the teaser, it's online. It's under the NFL, The Gift or the Curse on YouTube. I did a joint venture with them, and we're in the process right now of putting it together. I think a pretty good project.
Pretty
with the
organic and real, right?
Yeah, real.
Yeah.
They've enhanced it so much on top of the things that I wanted to do. So you can be on the lookout for that. Hopefully, we'll be able to release that, or at least get this thing moving by the beginning of the year, 2016. And my app, download it. It's free. I think you'll really enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy it because there's a social aspect too. You can actually see the same things you can see on the other platforms: funny videos, inspirational quotes,
and a lot of you on there too, huh?
Well, I have one page, one portfolio. We're doing updates right now. We're integrating it with Facebook and all the other platforms right now. Those updates will be finished at the end of this month.
Very cool.
And you'll be able to have unlimited pictures, unlimited information. You'll be able to add in your location, your height, weight, your age, a search filter. So if you sign up, you can sign up in one of 3 different categories. So whoever searches those 3 categories, your portfolio will pop up. We're doing a lot of different things like that.
That's really fun. And on top of that, you do so much charity work. I mean, I read you have so many things that you're giving back to. In fact, I even read that you're going to donate your brain for NFL research.
Yes, that's the one thing I like to do is to give back. I had a scholarship at the University of Virginia with 30 students that went to UVA.
Wow.
On my scholarship, and that was pretty incredible. I was never able to give the scholarships out because it was always in the fall. Mm-hmm. But my mother and father would go. There were 2 scholarships a year, and my mother and father would go to the different schools in my area of Virginia because my area is so small that it kind of gets overlooked. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to make sure people from the 5 counties in my part of Virginia had a chance to go to UVA and experience the same thing I experienced. So my 3 younger sisters, they went there on my scholarship, graduated. And that was really good. I didn't get a chance to go back until after I went to 3 graduations while I was in the NFL, but I went back and saw my little sister graduate in 2011. And one of the fathers of one of the students that graduated came up to me and he tapped me and was like, "Are you Thomas Jones?" And I said, yes. And he started like tearing up, and I was like, "Man, this guy must be a huge football fan or something." And he's like, "Your scholarship. If without your scholarship, my daughter wouldn't have been able to go to UVA." So that's the first time, and I started the scholarship in like 2005.
Wow.
So that was the first time I really had a chance to.
That's when you feel good.
Yeah.
That's when you feel good. You almost live, that's the moment that I get, because as an advisor, when a client says, I'm retired and comfortable because of you, it's like that same impact. You don't realize that's what creates meaning.
Yeah, and that's all that's left when you're done with everything else. And I wanted to do a brain donation because when I started working on the documentary, the concussion thing became, it's always been a relevant topic, but it became more of a mainstream, trendy topic when Junior Seau committed suicide. And I played against Junior for years since I was a rookie. Mm-hmm. Great guy. I played with Javon Belcher in Kansas City. I've played against a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys right now that are struggling. Tony Dorsett, a lot of guys are struggling. Some of these guys don't even remember how to get back to their houses. I mean, they're 40 years old. It's these people, they're struggling. Their families are struggling. And a lot of people say, well, they know that's part of the game. Well, it is part of the game as far as concussions, but we're still human beings. And without football, people would literally lose their minds in America. My last year when we were almost about to strike, people were like going crazy. No football, no football, no football. America would be, I don't know.
Football and America go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand because people get a chance to live out their primal instincts through us. Mm-hmm. So funny now, I'll go and watch, if I do watch a game, I might sit in a bar or something and I have a hat on and whatever, and and people are just, some of the things they say and just the energy in a bar watching a game. Because I've played for so long and I'm on the field. I don't even know I don't care what they're doing in the bar. I don't care what they're doing in the stands. I'm so focused on my job and what I'm supposed to do. But sitting in a bar and hearing the fans or say, why did he do that? He sucks. Get him out of there. He's terrible. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you have any idea how hard that is? Do you have? I mean, these guys on TV look like midgets on TV, but when you get on that in the stadium,
they're huge.
If you were able to get on the field level and see these guys, I mean, it's. I haven't been to a game since I retired. I think it'll be pretty hard. I've only touched the football twice since I retired, and that was on 2 commercial auditions for two sports commercials, and I had to throw a football and run with it or something. I have not even been to. I don't even know how I could go to a game. It would probably be tough just to smell the grass and seeing the. I mean, that's something I gave the majority of my life to. I love that game. But I'm starting to see it more from a fan's perspective now that I'm out and I have no choice but to hear these random conversations.
It's everywhere.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah,
sure.
As a mom of 3 boys, I wonder if I would let my kids play. So
I don't know. A lot of people ask me that. I think football teaches you all the cliches that you have to live out in life to be successful. Hard work, discipline, being a great teammate, mentally tough, physically tough. Dedicated, have goals. All those things have helped me. I mean, football taught me all of those things, and I've been able to transfer all those things into my life now. And I think that's why things are working out the way they are. But from a physical perspective, and it's different when it's your kid. It's some kid that it looks like you. It's came from you. It's like I don't know if I would want to. This kid's brain scrambled and at 30 years old or 40 years old because of a game. Right. Especially now that I'm in this tech space, I'm like, hey, I'd much rather you be Mark Zuckerberg than Tom Brady any day.
Yeah, for sure. Right. That is for sure. Especially someone like yourself who was academically so successful too. There's the world is at your plate, and it's amazing. It's so wonderful to hear how successful you have been transferring over to tech and acting. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Huge. So how can we go ahead and follow you on social media? Do you mind sharing all your handles with us?
No, that's fine. You can follow me on Instagram at Thomas Jones RB. You can follow me on Twitter at Thomas Jones RB, and my website is thomasjonesrb.com, and my Facebook is official Thomas Jones. So I'm active. I'm on there all the time now.
We got to get connected. I will
make
sure to get connected.
Definitely.
Amazing. And I hope that all of you do as well. And huge thank you for being on the show. It's been a true pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
And thank all of you for joining us, because without you, there wouldn't be us. So thank you once again for tuning in to the Renegade Millionaire Show. We are going on the road. So the next time you see us, who knows where we'll be. So make sure to tune in with us. And once again, this is Winnie's son, and we are out.